So just pay attention to the closest screen. Welcome back. Happy Monday. We're 83% of the way through the semester. Okay, 83%. I mean, we're coming down to it, right? At the end of this week, we'll be close to 90%. Here's my son. We'll be close to 90%. And we want to keep our eye on the prize because this is the last week that you'll be qualified. The window will be open that if everybody gets to passing, and I think, right now we're more than capable of doing that. There's 3 people that need to engage, but their grades are in the 40 and 50% area. You know who you are because they're all here. You need to do that in order to release the class to that opportunity, right? So those 3 last people get their grades to passing by this Friday. When I do grading before I leave for break, then everybody is qualified for the opening of the pizza party. But then everybody has to maintain your passing grades for the rest of the semester because you have to maintain it for 4 weeks. Okay, and basically, I'm already giving you an exemption from one of those weeks. So really, I'm asking you to maintain your passing grade for 3 weeks because that 4th week is the week that we're cleaning, and I'll make you exempt from cleaning. You won't have to clean, and Roxy, I'll roll out pizza for you guys. Okay, so I'll make pizza for you. Okay, so if everybody gets to passing. So with that being said, I feel like
Is he working here? Yeah, my daughter has none.
All right, so I'm back. Okay, so so again, right? I want you guys to qualify for the pizza party. So keep your eye on the prize. And again, if everybody gets to passing by this Friday, that's when that opens up, and then you just maintain that passing grade for the following 3 weeks, and you guys will be exempt from cleaning and get a pizza party that I'll make from scratch. Okay, so really quick reminder, right? So this Friday is your deadline for part of your planning for Top Chef, right? So you need to be like, you should have already, how many of you guys have already started planning for Top Chef? Raise your hands. Okay, like at least a menu. All right, some of you, all right. If you have not, you need to be leaning into that. You need to use your time today and tomorrow after I'm done with demo, actually no demo, after we're done with mise en place, you wanna jump right into Top Chef, okay? So your shopping list needs to be complete, okay? And you're just gonna go to the shopping list that's in the Top Chef assignment under week 18. Make sure your shopping list is submitted. If you have questions, ask me. Okay, make sure you work on your drawing and obviously lock in your menu and type that into your slat. Okay. Remember, the menu needs to be written as though it's a menu for the industry, for the restaurant. All right. Frank, can you put that away, please? Thank you. Okay, so directions for Top Chef. I went over those 2 weeks ago. Okay, again, they're under week 18 and they're at the beginning of the Top Chef slat. So that's what you're referencing. Use the Top Chef slat. Say that fast 10 times. Use the Top Chef slat to organize yourselves for Top Chef. Okay, so just make sure that you plan accordingly. Go through the slat step by step. Everybody has to submit the slat at the end of the experience. Okay. All the tips are there, all the tricks are there, all the videos there. The other thing I want to remind you of, as I mentioned earlier, is that Chef of the Week. We are coming down to it. You have 2 more weeks, this week and the first week of January, all the way up to January 10th to submit your final Chef of the Week. Okay? So different than Top Chef, we're talking Chef of the Week now. All right? So Chef of the Week needs to be submitted at the end of that first week, okay, in order to get credit for the third one. So if you haven't done 2 of them, you need to be doing it this week and then do it the following week when we get back. But you need to be in your chef outfit, chef uniform, okay? And you need to be owning and submitting your Top Chef report, okay? Your slat for Top Chef. Okay, another reminder, January 12th, right? I'm coming in, talking a lot about the end of the semester. January 12th is the final grading deadline. Sunday, January 12th at 11:59 p.m. Landon, what time? What day?
I have no idea.
What day of the week?
Tuesday.
All right, you got 1 out of 7 chance, right?
Sure,
So I might as well just throw a day out there, right? Yeah. Sunday, January 12th at 11:59 p.m. Okay, that is the final deadline that I have. I've given you flexibility and taken late assignments all semester long, but this particular day is my deadline. Okay, and I won't miss it. Okay, so if you're submitting assignments past that, that's problematic. Yes, on.
When is the last day of the semester?
January 20. Last day, we have half days on the 25th and 23rd and 24th. Okay, and so 23rd and 24th. So we do cleaning the following week, okay, and then we sort of wrap up and we watch a movie at the end of the semester, okay, related to our content here in this class. Okay, so yeah, so 23rd and 24th are half days, 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6 for periods.
Is the 24th the last day of the semester then?
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 meets on the 24th. That's the absolute last day. Following Monday, we're in semester 2. Yep. Okay. Okay, so and then let's go ahead really quickly. I'm going to go ahead and put our learning target up for the week. And another reminder, if you're interested in being a TA of mine, I already have a couple of people pre-selected right now as TAs for next year, but sometimes schedules change and counselors ask for changes. And so if you're interested in TAing for me, you need to have a C grade or above in the class, okay? And you need to come talk to me. So if you're interested in doing that, please let me know. I've got a TA already scheduled for next semester, and then I have 2 scheduled for next year. But I'm flexible and want to keep you in the queue if you're interested. So please talk to me about that. Okay, and our learning target for this week is we will learn and apply basic dessert preparation and presentations. Okay, continuing on. Okay, so again, we, okay, will learn and apply basic dessert preparation and presentation skills. So you want to start thinking about how to present your dessert. So you're going to play with that a little bit this week when you put the fruit on the dark chocolate mousse and think about how you're going to pipe it into a bowl or how you're going to finish it for presentation. You want to start thinking like that because your Top Chef activity, you'll be graded on presentation as well. Okay. So we're in classical French desserts now. Competency is dark chocolate mousse, and we're doing unit 17 in Ruby. Okay. Different than pastries last week. We talked about the crepes being a pastry. We're going to do a focus on desserts, classical French desserts for this week. Examples of that are cookies, bars, cakes and cupcakes, pies and tarts, ice cream, gelato, sorbetto or sorbet, as we know it in America, custards and puddings, cobblers, crisps, clafoutis, which is like a crisp sort of with a pancake sort of style sweetened batter poured on top, and then confections like truffles, bonbons, and petit fours. Okay. Ingredients often, again, just like last week, have a seasonality focus. So you're going to find right now you're going to use more tropical fruits, maybe more dried fruits. So you're going to find items that are more accessible, sort of really 12 months of the year when you're in the winter months. So we lean off of focus on fresh fruit much more during the winter months, right? We lean into chocolate, coffee, other types of flavor profiles because fruit isn't as high quality and is higher in price. You go buy a pint of strawberries now versus in April, the price point's very different, okay? Here's some examples, like an opera tart, okay? All right, these are examples of some finished desserts. This should inspire you to be thinking about how you're going to do your Top Chef activity because you'll be making a whole component, right? Main dessert item with a crunch and a sauce, okay? Those are the 3 requirements that you have on all 4 plates. The same thing on all 4 plates. This is an example. Here's a strawberry reduction here, a Bavarian mousse, and then a tuile cookie for crunch. So you want to think about all those components, okay? And just as I talked about last week, okay? Okay, just as we talked about last week, right? This is where in the bake shop, in the baking and pastry industry, a little bit different than culinary, apprenticeships are super common, especially in Europe, when it comes to the baking and pastry craft and discipline, okay? Again, looking at a diversity of different classical preparations, focus on high-level creativity, focus on seasonality, and then you've got an acronym there called BUFF, Balance, Unity, Flow, and Focal Point, Uniformity, Flow, and Focal Point. This is a presentation principle, and the reason why I'm talking about that now is that, again, you got your Top Chef activity. So thinking about how your components on the plate are balanced, okay, how there's uniformity, say, in the knife cuts, okay, how it flows, okay, like those previous, if you look at the flow on that particular left dish, right, how it comes down from the top, and then the focal point, the gross piece, the large piece of the dessert on the plate, how does that present itself, okay? All right, examples of classical French desserts are like a souffle or creme brulee, something you should be very familiar with. Creme brulees are very common out there in the industry. A tarte tatin, which is an apple tart finished with puff pastry. It's baked upside down and then flipped out of the pan. A clafoutis, as I mentioned before, it's sort of a pancake batterish, sort of crisp, and you pour the pancake batter on it, and then it crisps up on the surface. A flan or creme caramel, okay? A French lemon tart, and then like we're doing this week, a chocolate mousse, okay, is what you're preparing this week. Here's a quick walkthrough on how to prepare the chocolate mousse. And then I got a couple tips that I'm going to explain to you today, how to make sure your mousse is nice and smooth and silky. Sort of like that French silk pie that we made. Well, not so much your French silk pie, okay? And also not no pieces of chocolate in it, okay? You want it to be smooth and that chocolate to be melted, all right? So here we go.
Oh, no.
Oh, is this an early present?
Add
No,
here.
I don't like to wait.
Hey, I'm John Cannell. Today on Preppy Kitchen, we're making chocolate mousse. So let's get started. For this recipe, you'll need eggs, a little bit of granulated sugar, some heavy cream, and a nice semi-sweet chocolate. First off, you only have 4 ingredients for this delicious recipe. The primary one is the chocolate, so choose a chocolate that you love. This is not a time for most chocolate chips. Today I'm using semi-sweet, but you could use a combination with some more bittersweet for that extra chocolatey punch. It's really up to you. Give this a nice chop. We want to have smaller, uniform pieces of chocolate so it melts in the cream. Chocolate mousse is such an indulgence. It's just like rich, but light as air and creamy at the same time. You can also add like wonderful things to it to get other flavors. You can let me know in the comments what you would like to add to your chocolate mousse. I might have a little dash of some orange liqueur in there. These are for the kids though, so today I will not be doing that. That looks nice and chopped, even for my Virgo mind. It's okay, I'm setting it aside. All right, 3 large eggs.
Different than his, you're going to use just chocolate chips, okay? You don't need to chop the whole piece of chocolate. Often in the industry, we'll reduce our price by buying chocolate in 11-pound blocks, and we will cut it because the price point goes down dramatically. Why 11-pound blocks? It's all about kilograms and grams, it's all about metric instead of American standard, but that's often what we do in the industry. But in this instance, I'm just going to give you chocolate chips, okay?
Here's the deal. You want to separate these into separate bowls, even though it means more washing up for you. Just plop it right in. All right, so 1 precious egg yolk into a bowl. Add that egg white into the clean bowl of your stand mixer or a large bowl if you're using a hand mixer. Crack the next egg in. I'm using my hands to remove the egg yolk because I find that that's the best way for me. I've had yolks break in my hands, but I'm like fairly fast, so they don't go into the egg whites. So now, 3 egg yolks. This should have been in a large bowl, but extra dishes are fine. 1/3 of a cup or 66 grams of granulated sugar. You could also use caster sugar if you wanted. Now we're gonna mix this up. I love this moment. There's so many possibilities of things that could be happening. It's like, this is the starting point for most custards. So the custard fiend in me is very excited. Set this aside. And now our next step is involving some cream. You know, I put out a video a while ago called my top cake baking mistake video. One of them is like being prepared and reading the recipe through. So if you don't read a chocolate mousse recipe through all the way and you just toss the ingredients in, you'd be adding in too much cream. This is an amount of cream that's divided. The first step is to use 1 1/4 cups. 1 1/4 cup. We're gonna add 1 1/4 cups, metric unit below. This is going to get placed over medium heat for a few minutes, just until it starts steaming. We want to have a nice cozy place for the chocolate to melt.
All right, so that's an important part. You don't want to overheat the milk and scald it. You want to just heat it up. So regulating it, looking for some steam to come off. A little bit of the froth forms on top, but don't go nuts and bring it up to a simmer or boil, okay? You're just looking to give it enough energy that you can melt your chocolate in it. And you want to melt the chocolate. That's one of the tips. I find that sometimes students don't melt the chocolate all the way. And then when they fold it in, it cools so fast that it gets hard, and then you have these chocolate pieces inside your mousse.
While your cream is warming up, you can do a dish or two and hunt down the little cups you're gonna put your chocolate mousse in. That is one of the pain points of making chocolate mousse. What will you put it in? Find those cups and get them out while this warms up. Cream is warmed up. Now I'm gonna add the chocolate in. Don't waste any of this chocolate. It's not the easiest thing to make in the world, so stir it in just to give it a little bit of a head start for melting. And really, if you chopped your chocolate fairly finely, this will form an amazing ganache right away. So stir, 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 and you'll see it come together. That's easier, isn't it? All right, just like 1 second of whisking, it all came together. Now I have a silky, wonderful, and very loose ganache. I get a lot of questions from people about using raw eggs in desserts. Like if you're making anything meringue based that's not baked, you're gonna have some raw eggs in it. If you don't like the idea of that, you can pasteurize your eggs. I'll put some description box.
And you can buy them pasteurized too, okay? That's an option.
Realness below where you can just get the instructions. And in some supermarkets, you can buy pasteurized eggs already. Okay, this is going to be set aside for a little bit of time. Right now, it's a tish bit warm. We want it to be closer to room temperature, so go ahead and do a couple more dishes. In the meantime, magic of editing, we'll be right back. And now we're going to whip those egg whites up until they're nice stiff.
All right, this is one thing that I want to emphasize, okay? Here, it's super important that when you are whisking the egg whites, there needs to be no what we call goldfish in them. You can't have any yolks in them. So I'm going to actually you're going to separate your egg yolks, okay, for the first step of the process. And then I'm going to give you a weight on egg whites, and you're just going to pour egg whites out of a container because I want to guarantee that we don't have any yolk in there. And I find the students have a hard time with that task. So we're just going to go ahead and make it easier and just use some egg whites right out of the carton, just pure egg whites, okay? The other thing that's super imperative that you need to remember is this, okay? Tip number 2 is that you need to make sure the whisk attachment in the bowl are cleaned with hot soapy water. Run your hot water for a moment, get that hot water coming out, run it with hot soapy water so that you minimize the chance that there's grease inside, because if there's grease inside the bowl, your egg whites won't come up to the peak that you need them to come up to. I'll show you that now, okay? It's super important to clean it and dry it out with a paper towel, not a cloth towel, just a paper towel.
With peaks. So mix it up on high. So right now we're whipping up the egg whites, and if you're wondering like why, this is gonna add a lot of volume into the mousse and make it light as air. And that's it, it's lightening things up. It's not a pot de creme, it's a chocolate mousse.
Over 600,000 USPS employees working in sync to ensure everything sent on its holiday ride ends with a moment of joy.
We got it last week. I think I know what it is.
Season for ag.
Are you serious? Oh, guys, thank you.
I almost like walked away and did a couple of things, and I looked.
Important for you to pay attention. You're looking at a screen right now. You're not looking at your monitor, okay? Watch what's going on the screen here.
And this was right at. I almost like walked away and did a couple of
on the screen here.
Things, and I looked, and this was right at a stiff peak. Like this is a nice stiff peak. There is such a thing as overbeating your eggs, and you don't want to do that because the consistency will be lost. All right, here's the deal. This is velvety and rich and soupy. This has a lot of microscopic, tiny little bubbles in here. So what I want to do is add some of the mixture in.
So this is like the tempering that we did, okay, a couple weeks ago. So you're going to add just some of the whites, fold it in. Then you're going to add the chocolate, fold it into the whites, so you maintain more of the aeration, okay?
In, like a third of it.
This first batch doesn't matter as much.
I'm just going to beat that in. So this is called lightening the mixture. You're sacrificing a lot of air bubbles, but the chocolate mixture becomes like lighter and more airy. And now you can fold the rest in and really maintain the volume. Get the rest of those egg whites out. And this is one of my.
I say in the recipe to use a spatula. I learned this years ago that obviously a spatula has got a lot more components to it than a rubber spat. And so using a spat is going to get those egg whites incorporated in quicker. So you're going to fold in the egg whites now more gently just till it's incorporated, just barely.
My favorite things to do in a recipe,
Rubber
we're gonna
sprat.
use this dirty bowl for the next step, so you don't have to wash it. So I'm folding this
Cut
in,
that out.
and it's okay if I see a few streaks remaining. Like right now, the bottom is a little bit more chocolatey. Because in the next step, I'm gonna be whipping up the remaining cream and making this just a little bit richer and a little bit lighter and more velvety. So we want 1 cup of whipping cream in there. We're gonna mix this in.
All right, so you'll scrape those into the base. All right, the chocolate is the base. Scrape the egg whites in, and then you go ahead and whip your cream up. Okay, that's going to be the finishing of another aerated ingredient to finish your mousse.
And whip it up. So we're gonna beat this cream until nice stiff peaks form. You want it right to the edge where it almost becomes butter. Okay, now it's ready. All right. I always like to finish it off by hand though. Yeah, that's a nice consistency. We're gonna fold this whipped cream into our chocolate mousse and just really try to avoid like pulling a straw out, because at this point it's just deliciousness. But it'll be that much more amazing once it chills and sets and we add a couple more things to it at the very end. That is some amazingness. It looks so creamy and indulgent. All right, I'm pouring this into a Pyrex just so I can pour it. Now we're gonna fill these little containers up as high as you'd like. It's totally up to you. Pour the remaining mousse into your cups, place them on a tray, and now these are gonna go into the fridge for at least 4 hours, but they could be there for up to 2 days and no one's gonna know. Look at these beautiful chocolate mousse. I'm gonna add a healthy dollop of whipped cream on top of each of these cups. This is optional, but it's my favorite part. Finish off with a sprinkle of chopped chocolate. And just like that, your mousse is ready to serve. That is light as air, creamier than you can imagine, and just perfect. Oh, you've got to try this recipe, and I'll see you in the next video. If you like this recipe, check out my chocolate playlist.
Subaru and our retailers are the largest automotive donors to Make-A-Wish, supporting kids and families facing critical illness through the Share the Love event.
Get 2.9% for 72 months, and Subaru and our retailers will make a minimum $300 donation to charity.
Oh, right, within there. Oh, gotcha. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Can I get the name of the channel?
Oh, what?
Name of the channel?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm John Cannell.
Do you want to put it in my phone?
No, that's fine. Preppy Kitchen is what it's called.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, all right, wrapping up here. So that's how we're gonna make the mousse this week. I'm gonna put a timer up. You've got time to work on your unit in Ruby, okay? Let's get that done and let's start leaning into Top Chef, right? You got your drawing, identifying your menu and typing that into your slat, doing all the planning steps in your slat, okay? And then getting your shopping list completed. We need to work on that this week, okay? So lean into it, manage your time appropriately, okay? Huh?
I just wanted to ask, is this really good follow?
Yeah.
He also showed how long it would take to mix stuff.
Yeah.
Just was this for a couple minutes and then just jumps forward.
Walks through the whole process. Yep. Yeah, it's super helpful. Yeah, Usai, why don't you, yeah. I want him to be over there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. you got to do planning and everything. So
What's that? What's it called? Chef of the week.
Top Chef.
Top Chef.
Yep.
Tell me, what are the guidelines for it?
How about I print you
Okay.
a thing with the information on it?
Just on this back printer, or
Say again.
on that back printer, or the printer across the hall.
I'll do it in color for you, Ellen.
Okay, I'll go get it across the hall.
Can move
There
that.
was no tissue across the hall in that cabinet.
Oh.
You know what? I can use that.
Let's do.
To draw it on like paper.
Yeah, with color pencils. Yep. To leverage your artistic abilities. You do it together and take a picture of it and submit. Everybody uses the same one because you want it to look the same. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, let's see, custom default. Yeah, hopefully so. No. You have to have as many recipes as it takes to get the job done. So, yeah, I mean, for baking a well, I don't know if that it all is dictated by what you're going to prepare, right? Yeah, I went nuts there, huh? You have the whole week. You mise en place for. Yeah, and I just noticed I've got an issue. You guys, let me tell you one thing. Oh, wait a minute. Week of the 17th. Yeah. All right. So let me tell you, you guys. I'm going to tell you one thing really quick. Listen up. Listen really quickly. Okay. Listen. So I just got asked. I got to be on a committee, an intervention committee to redesign Tiger Center for next year. I've been, that's why I haven't been in on certain Fridays. So that committee's meeting on the 17th, the second day of Top Chef. So this group right here, you guys right here are going to go on Thursday, okay? And actually, I'm probably just going to do. I'll give you guys a mise en place day the Friday before, okay? If you need time. You can finish your lab for our last lab in the class, and then we'll do. You guys will go on Wednesday, and you guys will go on Thursday, okay? Instead of Thursday and Friday, because I can't be here, and I don't want it to push out. If I wait through the weekend, the quality of the food could deteriorate, and I don't want that to happen either. So Wednesday and Thursday, it's going to be the 16th or 15th and 16th is now the days of Top Chef, okay? All right. So just an FYI on that. I gotta switch that up.
Well, strawberries are.
Are we allowed to do something that's like cinnamon flavored?
Yeah, yeah, up to you guys. Yeah.
What?
Mr. Prince, are we allowed to do cranberries?
Say again.
Can we have cranberries or is that possible?
Yeah, that's fine.
Where's
We gotta go into class. Everyone got a week 18.
Yeah, I don't think that. I can't go with too much. In my case, yes. Well, this place is insane. What? With your car. Give me a.